Sustainable tourism is about a new form of tourism, talking about gently walking on the earth. So there's two types of tourism in existence in the world today. The first type is mass tourism, where people are traveling the world in big numbers, usually to resort places like Cancun or other parts of the world for sun, sea, sand, that sort of holiday. But there's a new form of tourism which is more gentle on the earth, it's more working with cultures, more respecting the environment. We call that sustainable tourism. Sustainable tourism is more popular nowadays simply because people have a greater understanding of the environment and the impacts on the environment. So the educated, thinking of people of the world, they really would like to travel and have the same experiences they've had in the past, but also leave behind, a little bit more respect, a little bit more care for the environment, maybe working with local people, helping local people directly, rather than travelling to big resorts and the money just goes to corporations. So it's just a better way of travelling, which has benefits for both the tourist and also the host people. The current state of play of tourism in the world is that tourism is booming. There's currently 1.1 billion international tourists that travel the world each year. That's people traveling outside of their own country. Of course, there's a lot more people traveling inside their country. So tourism is booming, but it just can't keep growing indefinitely with the adverse impacts that it leaves behind, where coral reefs are getting, wrecked, mass tourism in Africa and other natural areas, they're destroying the environment. So what sustainable tourism is doing is it is being able to cope with numbers of tourists that are visiting and traveling the world, but in a way which respects the local environment, respects the local people, and leaves behind a greater balance, if you like, between the visiting people and the host nation. Yeah, I would recommend that any young student gets into tourism today. Tourism's booming, as I've just said, and it's a great industry to get involved in. There's so many aspects of tourism. So I teach in a university in Australia where I teach students of tourism. They're getting jobs in the airlines, they're booming around the world on the cruise ships, they're also growing around the world. They're getting involved in resorts which are in natural areas, which ecotourism, etc., growing around the world. So it's certainly a growth industry and lots of opportunities for young people to get in there. But they're going to have some prerequisites. They'll need to have a good education, a degree. They will need to have another language, a foreign language other than their own, at least one other. They will also need to have a love of people, because tourism, after all, is about dealing with people. So there's some of the prerequisites for getting into the world of tourism and travel today. I've been a frequent visitor in recent years to Jeju Island, South Korea, and I think it's the most wonderful island on earth. It's a paradise here. But it is also an island where it's built on mass tourism. Now that is not sustainable. So Jeju does need to have a look at other ways of still having tourism, but also protecting its culture and environment. And this can only be done by looking at and building sustainable forms of tourism. So I'm recommending, rather than mass tourism, which there's a part for mass tourism, but to grow the tourism here on Jeju, then what is also needed are some ecotourism opportunities, geo or geological tourism, wildlife tourism, cultural tourism, smaller, sustainable tourism industries which bring greater benefits for the local people that live here on Jeju.